In the troubled territories of the Middle East, the Iranian axis of resistance has unleashed a series of events that have shaken regional and global stability, threatening even fundamental humanitarian issues. Iranian-backed operations in Iraq, Syria, Gaza, Lebanon, and Yemen openly challenged the United States and US-led international peacekeeping forces. The region is in a state of constant ferment, exacerbated by the actions of the Yemeni Houthi rebels, an Iranian-controlled force that has significantly altered geopolitics in the Red Sea. Attempts by the United States and the United Kingdom to curb Iranian influence have resulted in airstrikes and crackdowns, but far from deterring pro-Iran groups, they have stoked fears of a broader, more devastating conflict. In the midst of this tense panorama, the Houthis carried out missile attacks in the Red Sea, first against an American destroyer, and then against a cargo ship of the same nation. Surprisingly, the US military chose not to retaliate immediately, seeking, perhaps, to avoid an immediate escalation in regional tensions. However, threats of retaliation by Iran and its proxies create an atmosphere of uncertainty and anticipation. The situation became even more volatile when the Iranian Revolutionary Guard carried out an assault on Israeli spy centers in the semi-autonomous region of Iraqi Kurdistan, while special forces attacked the Islamic State in Syria. These events, along with continued bombings, have raised concerns about the escalation of the conflict that has been spreading since the clash between Israel and Hamas on October 7. In a further twist, anti-terrorist forces shot down 3 armed drones over the Erbil airport, where US and foreign forces were located. Iranian troops claimed that a missile attack destroyed one of Israel's main spy headquarters in Erbil, the semi-autonomous city of Kurdistan. This headquarters, which has been a nerve center for the development of espionage operations and the planning of terrorist acts in the region and in Iran, has been the epicenter of retaliation after the Israeli attacks that claimed lives in the Revolutionary Guard. The region stands on the brink of an abyss, with forces and factions vying for supremacy in a conflict that threatens to spill over even beyond its original borders. In a dramatic development, the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps (IRGC) announced on Monday a series of attacks targeting areas linked to Iranian opposition groups in Erbil. The attack, which involved the launching of ballistic missiles, left a tragic outcome with the death of 4 people and 6 injured, according to local authorities. The United States strongly condemned the attacks, calling them reckless and unpredictable. Iraq, for its part, considered that they constitute a clear violation of its sovereignty and withdrew its ambassador as a measure of retaliation. Notably, Israel has yet to issue an official response. The Kurdistan Region's Security Council regretted the loss of civilian lives and denounced the flagrant violation of the sovereignty of both the Kurdistan region and Iraq as a whole. The attack even affected the property of a prominent Kurdish businessman, although it has not been confirmed whether he was a specific target. In an attempt to justify it, the IRGC claimed that the attacks were directed against anti-Iranian terrorist groups in northern Iraq and Syria, without affecting U.S. personnel or facilities. The United States confirmed that neither the current consulate nor the new one under construction were damaged, and no American personnel were injured. Kurdistan Prime Minister Masroor Barzani expressed his strong condemnation of Iran's cowardly attack, highlighting the loss of civilian lives and calling on the international community to confront these persistent acts of aggression. Barzani warned that Iranian attacks could intensify fears that the conflict in the Middle East could spread beyond its borders, with disastrous humanitarian, political, and economic consequences. Tension in the region is reaching critical levels, and the international community faces the urgent task of addressing and containing this growing threat. In a continuing and escalating conflict in the region, Iran-backed allies and proxies, known as the Axis of Resistance, have intensified their attacks against Israeli forces and their sympathizers, further deepening regional clashes. Last week, the United States carried out the assassination of the leader of an Iran-backed proxy group, which Washington accuses of orchestrating attacks against American forces in Baghdad. Iranian proxy forces have responded by repeatedly attacking U.S. troops in Iraq and Syria using rockets and drones. Simultaneously, Israel and Hezbollah, supported by Iran, are embroiled in additional battles on the Lebanese border. Hassan Nasrallah, leader of Hezbollah, announced on Sunday his commitment to fight Israeli forces on the Lebanese border until the Israeli offensive against Gaza ends. Tension has escalated with reports that an Israeli drone attacked the vehicle of a senior Hezbollah commander in southern Lebanon last week, causing his death. Wissam Tal, the top Shiite leader killed in an Israeli attack since the start of fighting on the Lebanese-Israeli border on October 8, joins the list of provocations that include the alleged assassination in Beirut of Salih al-Arauri, senior Hamas leader, generating the fury of Hezbollah leaders in the region. As the Iran-backed Houthis continue to face difficulties in stopping attacks in the Red Sea, the situation becomes even more complex. 3 Yemeni vessels were sunk by U.S. forces after Houthi rebels attacked commercial vessels in the area last week. In response, the United States and the United Kingdom carried out strikes against Houthi targets in Yemen, attempting to curb their belligerent activity following a previous attempt to attack a U.S. warship. In a new episode, Yemen's Iran-backed Houthi terrorists caused damage to a U.S. merchant ship on Monday, triggering a new round of attacks that threatened global trade lines. The situation is becoming increasingly critical, with multiple fronts of conflict and unpredictable consequences for regional and global stability. After U.S. and British forces carried out a powerful bombardment against militant sanctuaries in Yemen, the Houthis' immediate response highlighted the complexity of eradicating the threat to Red Sea trade. Senior U.S. military commanders signaled their readiness to face possible more intense retaliatory attacks by the Houthis, who had begun attacking ships following clashes in the Gaza Strip. In a further escalation, last week the United States and Britain carried out strikes against more than 60 Houthi targets, using more than 150 precision-guided munitions. Despite these efforts, U.S. sources indicated that the terrorists still retained approximately 3/4 of their ability to launch missiles and drones against ships transiting the Red Sea. The mobility and concealment capabilities of most Houthi weapons systems present a constant challenge to authorities. On Monday, British Prime Minister Rishi Sunak said the airstrikes had been successful, underlining Britain's commitment to back up its words with concrete actions. In Parliament, Sunak described the attacks as limited, not escalating, and as a necessary and proportionate response to a direct threat. British Defence Minister Grant Shapps told Sky News, "We never expected all the facilities to be destroyed, that was not planned. We wanted to leave a clear message." However, despite these claims, Eagle Bulk Shipping's Gibraltar Eagle, a large Marshall Islands flag vessel, was hit by an HY missile on Monday. The corporation reported that the ship was carrying zero hazardous chemicals, according to Marine Traffic, which tracks ships in real time. The ship, which left South Korea bound for the Suez Canal, turned around on Monday amid growing instability in the region.